Hello again, nerdlings. Welcome back to Let's Overthink Final Fantasy X with Beth of Fake Geek Girls Game. As you may be aware, we had a bit of technical difficulties this week, resulting in not having an episode up on Monday. But as a bonus, this is a somewhat longer episode than normal, because this end of the Mihend High Road is very long. Which means you get to listen to me talk a lot about the battle system, you poor bastards. And NPCs. Look, here's one now.
This is a statue of Lord Mehen. 8 centuries ago, he founded a legion known today as the Crusaders. In just a few short years after their founding, their ranks grew throughout Spira. The Maesters of Yevon feared an uprising and accused them of rebellion. So Lord Mehen walked along this very road to go face their charges and refute them. He succeeded in winning the Maester's trust, and his legion became an arm of the Yevon clergy. It was then that Yevon gave them the name Crusaders, which they have kept ever since.
Thank you, Expedition Fairy. I have some stuff to say about that, but first I gotta talk to this guy. Very important, because this is why you talk to all the NPCs you meet on the road. Because they would just love to help out the summoner party, and then you get free weapons and items. Awesome. And then you get a tutorial.
Huh. That one looks slow.
Kimahri also has piercing weapons, but
No way.
for some reason, probably because we were busy having a tutorial on what Kimahri does, also because there were no armored fiends available yet, we're having the piercing tutorial now.
Told ya, Sir Aron's the best.
Not really all that impressive
could've done
once you
that.
realize that you can absolutely get piercing put on other people's weapons, but Auron and Kimahri are the only with piercing weapons by default. So, the Crusaders. As I've mentioned before, the term Crusaders is a bit of a misnomer for English translation, both because Yevon has no cross, therefore they cannot be Crusaders, it's a thing, but also because they're actually the less religious branch of the religious military.
Thanks.
They're a lot more of a militia who were, as we just learned, added on to the clergy later, essentially as this militia got too powerful to ignore, and they decided to join them rather than try to beat them. From the fact that Mehen was walking along this road, you can assume that the Crusaders have always been based more or less in Luca, which is something that's relevant to the Yevonite geopolitics that goes on in the background of a lot of this game. They've got their power base down here. The Warrior Monk's power base obviously is up in Bevel, and there's a lot of jockeying for position in between.
Bring it on.
Murders.
Take that.
That's what she said.
Don't get too cocky.
I mean, that is what she said. As previously, by the way, I'm not going to be showing you me mucking around in the menu. You don't need that.
Do you know what
It's
those
the
ruins
Expedition
are from?
Fairy again.
Some old city?
Correct. A city most ancient. A terrible testament to sin's power.
You can get an
I
idea of
tremble
what
every time I see them.
1,000 years ago
Compared to
Spira
sin,
looked like from the
humans are
number of
mere
these cities
mud
that you see
puppies.
scattered around.
But I believe humans are the only ones capable of defeating sin.
A good reply.
There was one
I'm
on
relieved to hear
Besaid.
you say that, milady.
There's this one here. There's at least
Where
one
are my
other
manners? I
further
am
on.
matron, a scholar, at your service, milady. I am on a journey, studying the history of our world.
Which means for the
Spira,
purposes of
seeking
this
its
play,
stories and
he
secrets.
is our
My
favorite.
travels have taken me to many places.
He would like to tell us
and I am
all
troubled
about the
by what I have
historical
seen.
dirty details.
Fragile smiles on people's faces,
And about how
crumbling
people are
at the
afraid of
mere
sin.
mention of sin.
Because otherwise
They
we wouldn't
are
have
counting
known.
on you, milady. Give them a reason to rejoice once more.
I will.
Alright. Let's see, is there a Albed Primer up here? The trouble with having this and 10-2 have a lot of the same maps is that I don't remember which game has items where exactly. I think it's I guess it must be 10-2 that has the primer right there in the middle of the fallen tower. Instead, we have a treasure chest around this side. Suspira has long been torn kind of between Bevel and Luca, with Luca being the more secular center of culture and whatnot, and then Bevel being the religious center. And we'll see how that plays out. But first, more NPCs. So many NPCs,
Lady
you guys.
Summoner, I presume.
Yes, I am Yuna.
I am
They take away your
Lucille,
fashion sense when you
captain
join.
of the Jose Chocobo Knights.
And I'm Elma.
Her clothing
We've been
is
charged to guard the high road.
less weird looking because she's not
There
as
have
high a
been
rank.
reports of a large fiend appearing in this area with a taste for chocobos. Do take care, Summoner Yuna, if you are to rent any chocobos.
Thank you. We will be careful.
Good. We should get back to our rounds. Farewell.
Our prayers are with you.
Lucille and Alma and Clasko, I guess, are my favorites. Among my
A
favorites.
large fiend.
Are such diverse elements as.
Let's go get him.
Because they have XP.
Why?
It's the right thing to do.
It's the right thing to do.
Monsters are where the levels live.
What'd I say now?
Damn it, Oren.
Jekt said that
Don't
a
compare
lot
me
too.
to my dad.
And every time he
Yeah,
said
but we're not gonna
it
have
meant
trouble,
trouble
because we're
for
gonna
Braska
kick
and
its
me.
ass. Oren must be having some really awkward, forced reminiscences along this whole trip. Like, all of this is places he's been before with Braska and Jekt, both of whom are more or less dead. Well, all three of whom are more or less dead. It's just that for some it's less and for some it's more. So yes, not going to show you a lot of my time in the menus because no one needs to see that, not really. It involves a lot of me going in, changing one small thing, and coming out again.
Farewell.
Because I won't remember to level the characters evenly unless I
Let's go.
enforce it upon myself. Alright. This is important because we can see that while the Crusaders are trying to do whatever it is they're trying to do, we aren't sure yet. A lot of people don't think it can work. NPC number 3. Hello.
Ah, a summoner party.
You too are a summoner?
My name
I
is
really
Belgaline.
love her
You
dress.
My name is
It's gorgeous.
Yuna.
I like the
are? The High
hemming
Summoner's daughter.
at the bottom.
I've heard much of you, but you are still fresh on the road, are you not?
Yes, I am.
I might have a few things to teach you.
Belgamine is
Let
a
us see
friendly
which are
neighborhood
stronger,
Aeon
my
training
Aeons or yours.
instructor.
A one-on-one match. Not to the death, of course.
There's never
do you
really any
say?
reason not to fight her, since she will
I'll do my
heal
best.
all of your Aeons up
Good. Before
right
we
beforehand, and your Aeons will take no
begin,
lingering
your Aeons
damage.
have been healed.
In fact,
You
that may
can
be an
fight with
excellent
your
reason
full
to fight her
strength.
if your Aeons are in
Come.
kind of bad condition. Plus, you know, the worst thing that can happen is you lose a friendly combat. Oh no! The horror! The shock! It's choice of summon, and brings out a freak. Which means since you can only summon an Aeon that
Show
nobody
me how
else is
strong
summoning,
you can forge
leaves
with your
Yuna with
Aeons.
Valfor. See, Ifrit was grayed out because you can't summon the same Aeon in a summoner duel as your opponent. That's okay, Valfor is pretty great anyway. And with Aeons, I personally prefer the speedy, lighter ones over the heavy hitters because they are so slow. Nice thing about Valfor Ifrit, being a fire Aeon, is weak to Blizzard. Balfour, not weak to anything, and has first level elemental spells. Blah blah, shield and boost. Shield against strong attacks, boost to fill up your gauge faster. I'm not actually boosting because I'd rather do a little extra damage and hopefully live a little longer. But shielding is good since otherwise I'm going to have some serious difficulties. It's quite possible that I won't be able to win this, but there's no reason not to try. It's not unwinnable by any means. As we can see with Valifor's shiny higher level overdrive, we could make it. There's no way of knowing though until it goes off. Since if it wasn't below half, to have a different animation for that. -2. Yes! Got it! Totally just a pride thing, but I'm smug that I could beat it for you guys.
Stop. That is enough.
Belkamina is really good looking for someone with dinner plates on the side of her head.
Not bad for one so young. I underestimated you.
Also,
Take this.
better
You
armor
earned
for
it.
Yuna.
You show promise. With more training, you could defeat Sin.
Thank you. But I think you might defeat Sin before I am able to.
I cannot.
Huh?
Or should I say, I
That's
was not
right.
able to.
Belgamina is in
Yumi.
fact Belgamina the friendly
Farewell,
ghost.
Yuna. We'll meet again.
As she says, she presumably already tried to defeat Sin and died in the process. So she can't do it again, even though she can still summon, but presumably she can't defeat Sin properly. She can't attain the final Aeon, I suppose? Or at any rate, she believes she can. What it boils down to is that you have to let the living people do living people things like the plot. The dead people doing everything is kind of the problem that the plot has to solve. Now we get into the fun of me using the characters that I need to level more rather than the characters who are actually preferable for a type of monster. This happens a lot because when there are elemental monsters around, Lulu sees a lot of use. But it's not too bad since all you have to do is kind of keep up with the heals and let them slowly chip its hit points down. It's slow, but I got time. And piercing actually does help. It increases the amount of damage since it's going through at least some of the armor. You can get into encounters just as you're going over the top of that hill where it seems like you shouldn't be able to. It is always really frustrating and kind of terrifying when that happens. Because like I said, this is a long push. Especially at the low level. Where, for example, I don't have a no-cost healing for Yuna, and I don't have life. So if somebody dies, there's trouble. I'm stuck on items for raising people. which is not really where you want to be. On the bright side, nah, I'll save his limit break for when it's not something we're about to just straight up murder. Next time I'll show you the limit break. See if I can actually get it on the first bar this time. I swear I can do it. I used to be able to do it every time. I can't do it with people watching, apparently. I mean, I know you're not watching while I record it, but you're watching in your soul.
My Lady Summoner.
You're a summoner? Yes. My name is Yuna.
I'm Callie.
Nice to meet you, Callie.
Lady Yuna, are you going to bring us the calm?
Yes. Very soon.
Yay!
Yeah, that's kind of
Looking
awkward
forward to another calm, my Lady Summoner.
in a conversation
I'll
when
do my
your
best.
kid is laughing and running around at
And
the
good
idea
luck
of your
to your
conversational
guardians
partner
as well.
dying. And you're like, well, I do want the calm, but it's kind of awkward to make such a direct reference to the fact that it is good and we like it.
What's the calm?
No, really? I
calm
thought it was
is
a time
time
of
of
war
peace.
and violence
It
and
comes
drama.
after a summoner defeats
That
sin.
seems like something
and
I would call
lasts
the
until
calm.
sin reappears.
Huh?
Sin dies
Yep,
and is
it's
reborn.
not a one-shot. You
I
have to
get
keep
it.
trying. I'm sorry.
I thought it was weird. Yuna's dad defeated Sin 10 years ago, right? But Sin's still here. Didn't make much sense till now.
Why
Wait,
bother?
if it just comes back...
Or why go to all this effort for
Don't
nothing?
say it isn't worth it.
But it's not for nothing.
Because it is.
Even for a little while, people can sleep in their beds without being afraid. That kind of time is worth anything. Don't say it isn't worth it. Your words that
Reminder
day,
that this
Yuna,
entire section of the
I
game is
remember
part of
them
a
well.
frame story that Tidus is telling. I personally love frame stories. They're awesome. You can kick this kid's blitzball and he yells at you, but instead I'm going to get into an encounter, apparently. Then I will talk to him. Now let's see if I can get it. I can't do it with everybody hypothetically watching me, apparently. Fortunately, I can hit the attack button and the kill it with fire button just fine. This, by the way, is why I don't play a whole lot of platformers, because timing, what is it? Can you eat it? Is it a food? More bits of city. So you can see everything got so thoroughly crushed that most of it is underground. Oddly enough, not being much in the way of bonus dungeons in this game. Even though you'd expect it to be just wall to wall. And now we descend into the depths of the ancient ruin. Oh god, I hate being ambushed by these guys. They're so fast. Yes. They're really fast, and I don't like them.
Thanks.
God damn it, Waka, you better at actually killing the things. Ow, ow, ow. Pain. Why are you picking on him? Pick on... There's a tank on either side of him. Pick on them. This is the trouble with having tanks, is that the AI somehow knows.
Maybe I'm in a slump.
No, Tidus, you're not the one in the slump. Finally, they attack somebody other than Tidus. Christ. Lauren just potion the poor kid up so that he can help murderate these things. Yeah, that's
Handcuff game.
the bad part about the Mihen High Road, is that not only is it long, but every run usually has at least one of those. And then you can just... it's awful. Alright, got a key sphere. I'm gonna need that for my plans for Tamari. And sometimes more than one, like when you're ambushed by wolves. Again! And they kill Tidus. Again. Lauren, if you would be so good. Like, that's half my Phoenix Downs right there. And nobody is in an amazing shape hit points wise either. Or at least Aura managed to actually hit it for once. Is there a treasure chest back here? God damn it, no there isn't. Fuck you! That's 3 ambushes in a row. Fuck you and this game and the random number god in particular. Alright, get rid of that first. Then Lulu can come in and take that guy out, no problem. And Oren can just remove this stain upon the world. That wasn't nearly as bad. Yuna absolutely can and does heal them in between battles when I'm not showing it to you, but her MP is also finite. And that starts becoming a bit of a hard limit on the high road. And then there are these fuckers. So they all do fire attacks.
From fiery fury.
So when they come up, particularly, they like to come up in trios because otherwise it would be too easy. You tend to want Yuna in using Null Blaze and healing as necessary. Then you need one hitter, ideally lots of strength, because they grow. And then if you hit them 3 times and they're still not dead, they wobble over to you and explode in your face. It is unpreferable. Obviously, the third person, when I get them in here, is going to be Lulu. Yep, here she comes. Since at this stage, she is the only one who can take them out in 3 hits. And of course, Lulu is not all that speedy.
Back on the field.
Waka is going to be my third because the equipment he currently has on is ice damage. So he's doing more damage to these guys than anyone else. Certainly much more than he would otherwise be. He's not all tanked up yet. Since they both focused on one, I let Yuna cure herself. Since all of our work is as nothing if the healer goes down. That is the worst thing. Yuna's going to take the one on the end. Use Waka to finish off number 2. Now these are just as fun as an entire barrel full of monkeys. At least sometimes Waka gets a well-timed crit and destroys them utterly. Yeah, that's right. Go away. Explode somewhere else. This is a no-explosion zone. Mostly because I don't yet have anyone who can use a grenade. Let's see, who is in here? Treasure chest is in here. I just hate the wolves after that pair of battles earlier. This isn't even a particularly dangerous setup. I just know only hate.
All yours.
I'm a video game object that knows only hate.
See ya.
As you're probably picking up, the goal of the Crusaders is that they swear they're gonna actually get Sin this time. Ah! Before I discuss that anymore, here's another monster arrangement that's important because that guy there with the horns is the only monster on the entirety of this length of the high road that drops ability spheres, which I am otherwise extremely short on. Also, he teaches Kamari Fire Breath. That's pretty great. The bombs can also teach Kamari self-destruct, but I'll get to that when I feel like it.
Let me help.
Unit increase in heals. The downside is that the quadricorns, or whatever they're called, really like to hang out with the bombs. Both of which have a lot of manpower that they require in terms of keeping them under control. The go-to technique is to do like I'm doing here, have Waka dark attack the quadricorn so that it will not do its quadra thing, since all it has are physical attacks, I believe. It may have Fire Breath, but I'm not sure I've ever seen it actually used at this juncture. This subtype. And then use the time that buys to get rid of the bombs, because they're awful and we don't like them.
Yeah.
On the bright side, you get a hefty load of AP out of these guys. And as I said, it's the only place to get ability spheres for yet another while. Which is important because life without new spells is both not worth living and a lot harder to live. And to dark him up again.
Back in the fray. Yeah. You like that?
In an ideal world, I would have something that could overkill that so we get double ability sphere, but I don't. Oh, huh, what's that on the road up ahead? We should go check it out. Oh, hey, it's those two guys. And a chocobo. And they're pulling over. Never mind. We can wait. I'm an extremely patient person. I'm laughing because Ellie is not here to laugh at me on her behalf. Especially with the bombs showing up, you end up having people who shouldn't be fighting elemental creatures do that a fair amount. It's either that or people who shouldn't be fighting flyers, since Waka is the other character whose role can't easily be taken over by anyone else's. Except by Lulu, who is also usually busy. Alright, that's a couple overdrive gauges up, which are important. Always want them up before boss fights. Especially this early on, when the only overdrive charging mode you have is Stoic, which only charges when you take damage and doesn't charge much then either. You really want to be waiting while they charge up, while trying to get something better. Alright, and not with the stupids this time. So we can bring in Tidus.
No problem.
These are not actually too bad as long as you have them hit with darkness. If you don't, they will chew through your hit points like nobody's business. Hey guys. Weren't we just?
We saw the game! You guys were great!
Congratulations, Waka.
Sorry, boss.
Hey, stop loafing around.
The Lady Summoner and her guardians...
This mission requires our full attention. We've no time to waste. Understood?
Yes, ma'am. Apologies, ma'am.
When your commander gives you a lecture, don't make excuses. Just apologize and get it over with.
See, keep your head
First
down.
rules of
say
the military,
sir a lot, and you'll do
apparently. Or
Right,
so I'm
sir.
told.
fine. Hey, Yuna. Even though Yevon rejected us,
Aw.
we still believe in you. That won't
Yuna's
ever
people
change.
still believe in her even though
Thank
they
you,
feel cast out by
Sir
the
Luzu.
religious
Sir Gata.
organization that sponsors her.
But, you know, it's not too late for you to go
But
back
you know,
to
you could go
Poseidon.
home. Please
should
go
be going,
home.
sir.
Bad things are going to happen to you and it's going to be like 50% my fault. What? Currently the bad thing that's happening to you is that your chocobo has gone on without you. And Tidus is laughing at you, which you must hate. I know, I would hate it if some golden retriever boy started laughing at my misfortunes. And last of today's NPC cohort.
We'll defeat Sin any way we can.
But Yevon's teachings say...
Enough.
I only meant to... Are you alright? Lady Summoner?
Yes, I am Yuna.
It is an honor, my lady. My name
I
is
kind of like her hat. I mean,
disciple
it's
of
ridiculous looking, but it
What was all
beats
that about?
her weird
The Crusaders
overrobe
operation?
thing that she has going on about.
You mean the one Gata and Luzu were talking about?
I heard they were to use Forbidden Machina. I had to stop them.
Forbidden, Tidus.
Huh? Why?
The word forbidden
Use of
should have
Machina
clued you
is
in.
strictly forbidden by the Yevon priesthood.
That's bad, yeah?
Let them use whatever they want. They
After
still
all,
won't defeat Sin.
He's Sin closer
But
up than anyone
it's
else.
not about defeating sin.
Whoa.
The
No, it
teachings
is
of
about
Yevon
defeating
must be
sin.
upheld.
If you make the teachings more
right.
important than sin,
You don't understand.
then you're making the trappings of the
Crusaders
religion more
won't even
important
listen to
than
me.
their
And it's
ostensible
all because
purpose.
I'm just a lowly acolyte.
Don't say that. Well, I haven't been a summoner for very long myself, you see. Still, I can't put myself down every time I fail. People are depending on me. They're depending on both of us.
Yuna gives a short,
Yes, you're right,
delicate
my lady.
lesson in finding your inner
Absolutely
confidence.
right. Thank you so much, Lady Yuna. Now, I feel I have the
Because
courage
if there's one thing
to
Yuna has a
finish my
lot of,
training.
it's confidence. So, the nice thing about the Mihan High Road, other when you have to deal with the unending stream of monsters and lurking around, passing out in the middle of a fight. Excuse you, Waka. On the bright side,
Let them come.
Yuna has learned life. On the not so bright
Return
side,
to us.
she is really hurting for mana at the moment. But on the bright side, you do meet a lot of great people that you're going to be seeing again and again. You'd already met Luzu and Gata, of course. Their story continues through the next plot segment, and then it's over except for a couple optional meetings later on. You've got Mei-Chen, who will be showing up to exposit at you whether you like it or not for the rest of the game, more or less. There's Belgamine, who will be showing up every now and then. Lucille, Elma, and Clasco are also part of the whole Crusaders affair. They carry on a bit further forward. And then there's, I guess Callie and her mom don't really do anything else in the game, but you also see Shalinda, of all people, again, including in some very unexpected places. One of my favorite things about this game, honestly, is the number of named NPCs that you have, that you can meet, and whose lives you can follow. It makes the world feel very lived in. Even a lot of the unnamed NPCs, if you do a lot of backtracking, you can see things happening and changing in their lives. But particularly the named ones, they've got these whole other stories that, while they interact with yours and are influenced by it, aren't happening only when you're looking. Oh, thank God I found the save point.
We rest here.
But this isn't our bed shop.
Full marks for observation.
Is that a problem?
They don't believe in Yevon, and in Luca they kidnapped Yuna.
I mean, both of these things are true.
Where were her guardians?
Oh.
But
Sir Orin's just
awkward.
concerned about your health.
I'm not tired one
Waka,
bit.
you sound like a 5-year-old.
Well, I am.
Orin, you sound like the exasperated parent having to deal with the 5-year-old. And on that note, as always, we love to hear from you. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.